Welcome back to Little Witchy Mischiefs. Now we're going to the city.
Ooh. On the
fancy
7th
now,
map.
aren't we?
Daring today, are we, game?
And even better, there's dialogue straight after I pick the characters.
Oh
my
wow, we
God,
really
more
are
story.
daring today.
Again, there's not much of it, but still.
I guess the fact that now we have pretty much all the franchises collected, they can interact more now.
I mean, there's one.
Again,
left.
we're still missing at least one piece of a puzzle,
Yeah,
Jova.
and I did promise Pedro he could voice. He could voice Meg.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up, Meg.
Yeah.
At least it's not a shark.
So basically, Pedro, you'll be telling yourself to shut up.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen that movie. How is that movie? If any of you saw it.
What movie?
The Meg.
Shark movie where the shark is called Meg. Jason Statham.
The Meg. Yeah, I've actually heard that. Oh, go on, Sheree.
Are you two Meg and Non?
Yeah, we are. Who are you guys? So this is Meg, okay. She has a tail, or is that like a ribbon?
I think it's a ribbon on her back.
I think it may be her
We're trying to
ponytail.
stop these creatures, and we really need your help, if you want to.
Okay. Yeah, sure, we'll help. We need all the backup we can get here, too.
I assume we're in your neck of the woods?
Jova, you voice. Jova, you can voice Non.
Okay.
The blue-hair girl.
Sure. Right? None.
Sorry, but I don't think I need any assistance.
This is what
You're just the life of a party.
What? Why? We need our friends on this. This is what I get for working with
We
blue
know
hair.
I need you.
This is why Superman works alone.
Exactly. This is why,
And if you were a good witch, I would help. Ooh. But you people won't stand a chance, no matter how many of you weaklings there are.
God, it's been so long. But none. Tail, who the name of the protagonist of Trigon?
Vash the Stampede.
Yeah, this is why he works alone.
Oh, you think differently? Then you must try to beat me in battle. Only then will I join you.
And if you resist the challenge, I'll do it and I'll win.
I mean, I know there are monsters coming to attack us, but let's fight.
Like priorities.
Yeah, let's fight each other.
Did Zack Snyder took over the game?
So you literally have to beat her up and get her to join you.
Just that.
Yes.
What is it? Not just that. What is it with pre-2000s anime girls who are extremely confrontational?
Oh boy, she's a flying enemy. Also, be forewarned, random citizen. Try not to run over any girls who land in the street.
Yeah, it's this thing where we have all in the Puyo Puyo series. We have these characters. Like, seriously, why are pre-2000 anime girls so confrontational?
No, I can't lose.
And yet you did.
I'm sorry, but please understand. We're serious about
Please
this too.
understand.
I lost to a little girl in a pink white dress. The hell?
Yeah, so
This started as a nice week.
None.
Is that all you can say, Meg?
Apparently.
No.
Oh god, shut up, Meg. No, I should be sorry. That was very immature of me.
Immature, that's an understatement.
I made a promise, and I will keep it. I will fight alongside you all. Yay!
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
Alright.
It took a fight to get her to join our team.
Alright, the source material in this case is Majokko Meguchan, or Little Meg the Witch Girl. Originally released in 1974, between 1974 and 1975. In my country, it arrived in 1981, which is called instead Via the Challenge, the Magic Challenge. What a weird title. And had a 65 out of 72 episodes broadcasted. That's very arbitrary. The protagonist is called Megu. Their rival, as we mentioned, is called Non. Then we have the supporting characters, the father and the mother Kanzaki, the adopted brother, adopted sister. Let me see what the synopsis is.
Filled with floating rhinos,
Yes.
Isn't life better with them?
There we go. Megu-chan apparently is
Hey,
a
you beat him.
Megu-chan is a powerful but accident-prone young witch who comes to Earth as a part of initiation into a larger society. She's a contender for the throne of a witch world, and apparently she's super special as a result.
Let me guess, Non's rival.
Is one of the most powerful sorcerers from a different rivalry, and it's a main contender. Cold, alien being, almost devoid of emotion, setting a precedent for many later Mahou shoujo anime. Non attempts to murder Megu in their first meeting, continues to plague her through the series. So there you go, Pedro, you just found the trope codifier.
The codifier
eventually,
of what now?
Of the, what Pedro just said before, confrontational rival anime girl in a Mahou shoujo story. Eventually, Non comes to admire rival lineage courage, even joining forces with her against mutual enemies, so basically sheep crack sheepy material.
Of course, and then they fall in love and kiss and have all the
While true
fun
friendship
and
is never an option in Non's she's very tsundere, the two reach an
Friendshipping
uneasy
is best shipping.
The two reach an uneasy truce by the middle of the series, agreeing to hold their final confrontation as long as possible, and by the end of the series, Non becomes as far frequently a source of help than interest to Megu.
This fight's gonna go.
Wait, hold on. Tio. And then J.K. Rowling retcons them to have a hot, rough, and coarse sexual relationship.
I'm more weirded out by the fact that in my country they literally changed the name of the characters for no real reason. Megu becomes Bia, the one I mentioned. Non becomes Noah for some reason, and others follow the same fate. Apparently, the anime was not exclusive just to my country in terms of exportation, but also French at the very least. But I'm pretty sure other countries receive it too. But I don't think it has an actual English release.
So isn't it nice? We're seeing the codifier of anime history.
It's still actually considered one of the not being the first of one of the Mahou shoujo series have introduced many cliches that are still used to these days.
Again, it is kind of a shame that this game didn't come over West. It could have been a good way to clue people in more to this anime. I mean, okay, I know that we hadn't. No, this game came out in, when again? The 1990s?
1999.
Okay. So by this point, the great anime migration to the West was beginning at this point.
Also, too, I get the feeling both Kitase and J.K. Rowling would get along pretty well, considering they have a lot of common preferences when it comes to
Okay, much as I hate to say it, I think these days Kitase might have just a bit more dignity than Rowling.
As far as we know, yeah.
No, that is correct. I'm just talking about them as writers. People, that's a different story.
There we go. The series gained modern recognition after it reached the European market, with the Earring's name changed into the French dub, expanded his Italian. Oh, okay. Apparently, the name changed name to Bia seems to be a thing for the European market because it was changed in my country, yours, Pedro, and the Polish version, surprisingly. Later on, it was also exported to Spain and Latin America, so South America as well, under the name of Maggie the Little Witch, or in their language, Brujita. The show had a little success there, then it got broadcast in Peru and Venezuela. But yeah, the biggest popularity is this reported year seems to be just in my country, but sadly I don't have much experience with this one either. I still don't understand. Oh, there we go. The Italian dubs keep to 7 of the 72 episodes, as I mentioned, hence the reason why some sources list the series as consisting only 65 episodes, and made a few edits for content in extant episodes. The undubbed episodes were fairly dark, most of them dealing with suicide, and the edits made the Italian versions carried also into the Polish and Portuguese versions.
I forgot to translate that bit, sorry.
Nah, don't worry. The point is that
we're stronger in some way.
Strength has returned. The point is that this was a kind of a common thing. One, like I mentioned, while we did go to these exclusive deals that say English countries did not get, plus countries like mine or France did, there were like it was kind of like what what's the term? Whatever. The point is that since there was kind of a monopoly of how these animes were localized, while most of the time we were camped for a fair translation, sometimes there was censorship applied because they believed that the themes talked were like too dark for children. And at least back then, there was still also the mentality of the animation age ghetto, as in, oh, cartoons are just for little kids.
Huh, yeah. Show him Higurashi. That'll be a great time for the
Not
kids.
even that, Joe.
Speaking of, you're on the subject of anime. This particular battle map in particular is pretty much a giant reference to a lot of Toei animation stuff and Bandai. You've got vans with Toei animation logo on the back. You've got a giant swinging Bandai symbol over there.
It's kind of like in some.
And a billboard with Cutie Honey on it.
It's kind of like in how in some Nickelodeon licensed game you can destroy the old THQ office building. But basically, that's a thing, Jova. Not even in Higurashi, even before that. The people who localized Digimon here in my country had the common sense to actually keep all the weird dark stuff intact, you know, and also keep most of the Japanese soundtrack there. So at least on that front we did got the full-on trauma.
Okay, so that was the as if this game weren't already a big reference enough. Now we just had a whole battle map where it's pretty much just look at all the Toei and Bandai stuff there is.
This is no different than something like, say, the Yakuza games having the Sega Club arcade, places to go.
Anyway,
This
Pedro,
kind of... Sorry, go on.
to answer your question about the Meg, from what I've heard and seen, it's a relatively decent shark movie. I mean, some people have even said that it's the second best shark movie out there.
The thing that I heard is that as a movie on its own,
Those were some other guys who wrote Battleship.
the thing from what I heard is that as a movie it's technically fine, but it's very blatant in the fact that it's mostly marketed to the Chinese populace. Which, again, in itself, it wouldn't really be that much of a problem. It depends on how much we want to be blatant about it. Also, this music.
Oh man, that's what, yeah, I'm being out-mannered here.
So let me ask instead, Dwibs, again, it obviously depends on how much mana do you have, but like, as you've shown, you can actually activate abilities from units that you haven't summoned yet by spending enough mana. How does that? How can you actually change in a sense of instead actually summoning the actual unit instead of just using the ability in itself?
Nah, I don't really know.
Especially because you seem to have a lot of reserves at this point.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna use them all because.
I mean, again, whatever makes you finish the map faster, I get it. Especially if you're still rolling with the usual protag units.
Yeah, well, at this point, the ones I've got that are the strongest, I'm gonna use the most.
Well, make sure to try and even stuff out and, level them up as much as you can.
Well, again, Drova, you have to remember that before Project Cross Zone 2, games like these, as it's shown by the first Project Cross Zone and also across Capcom, were relatively, not necessarily unbalanced, but they presented the extra challenge of you having to manage with the resources that you had. Meaning that you potentially have to, not cut corners, but potentially leave someone a bit behind for the sake of, scoring a necessary victory, having to be parsimonious with your items, stuff like that. Project Cross Zone 2 introduced all the quality of life improvement that a lot of these games did not have until this point. Again, chasing cats and dogs? Okay.
Yeah, you know, at this point, yeah, there's so many collecting cats and dogs. This might as well have been the cats and dogs.
I mean, to be fair, Dwibs, we're living in apocalyptic times, so cats and dogs living together really does lead to mass hysteria. So,
I suppose. Although this time I can fly around the board, so stay still.
That's gonna be a bit hard, Dwibs.
How tiny are these cats?
Tiny enough to help with that hit detection. And by that I mean make it work against you.
And why is the music this ominous for this BD game?
Again, these tracks are ripped straight from Unholy War.
I get it,
Don't
but you could switch to the more upbeat, peppy music for this section and more ominous for the battle.
Unholy War.
Well, there is some peppy music used in this game, though, that they could have used.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Don't you see, though, if you don't get all the dogs, Tio, the ones you don't find die. That's why it's so suspenseful.
And we don't want that.
No, I guess. There we go.
Well
She's
done.
not crying because of the rules.
Anyway, at this point, might as well let me get the. Oh, no, the flight time. Okay. Let me get the bios for the series that we haven't talked about that has shown up yet. For example, sadly. For example,
Oh yeah, while we're here,
go on.
I put up those pictures from the
Right,
various
you did
Twitter
mention
accounts
it.
that I saw. Basically, the first one that I've put up is basically an interview with the voice cast that return to voice their roles in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a poster, marketing this game's release. Then there's another page. I'm guessing it's one of those. Then the other two pages are like little preview ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing one is also including an interview with one of the Bandai executives.
With a particular piece of commemorative art too.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess this is Famitsu. It's straight taken from Famitsu.
Maybe.
That's usually versatile for this kind of magazine structure. But there you go, Sally the Witch. Sally is the witch princess of the Magic Kingdom who longs to visit the mortal realm, presumably to make friends her own age. One day, by mistake, Sally teleports to the Mid-World, which is actually Earth, where she uses her magic to fend off a couple of burglars managing two schoolgirls, immediately befriended by her new acquaintances, tomboyish Yoshiko Hanamura, known affectionately as Yacht-chan, okay, and girly Sumire Kazugano. Sally decided to stay on Earth indefinitely, leading to mischief. As with Samantha Stevens in Bewitched, Sally tries to keep her supernatural abilities secret to meet the role of a human child, especially because, yes, they did mention that Bewitched was influential to this series.
Also, thank you, random citizen, for running over that alien.
You're doing your part.
And yeah, you contributed to his demise. Oh yeah, apparently Mahariku Mahita is a catchphrase. I don't know what it means, but it's a catchphrase. I know that much.
Also,
for sure.
Sally the Witch is really a very long-running series. The first series alone was 109 episodes, and the second one got another 88 to boot. It's borderline to almost 200.
Interesting thing as well. I was looking around for the marketing of this game, and that poster I put up, that's literally the only time throughout any of the marketing, even on the game box art, that Crystal Dynamics are mentioned.
You have to remember, around this time, the idol stuff was probably not as popular in Japan. Was Tomb Raider ever popular in Japan?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
It wasn't popular enough that all the games got released there.
Mm-hmm. Alright, but I guess Legacy of Kain probably was famous as well. Not sure about Deus Ex.
That little bit where Crystal Dynamics is mentioned, I'm just putting it through Google Translate now.
Go ahead.
This might not be an accurate one, but hang on, I might have to redo it. This isn't accurate at all. Anyway, more teleportation, yeah. Actually, why am I bothering taking a photo of it? I could just use just get it off from Discord and do it that way. Fire! Fire! Yeah, because you know how well this went last time.
I love how vehicles keep coming in and out of the void.
Yeah, it's like this is welcome to Bandai Island, or something like that. Oh, but Sally's in a bit of disarray. Oh yeah, sure. Target the weak, defenseless girl. Why don't you? Don't worry. With Sally's flying powers, she will. I am sure she will fly over all danger. The problem we got is this teleport.
Jesus.
Ow. I can't see. And Sally lost.
Oh, they even used the same stock laughter for the guy.
Well, yeah, everything from Unholy War is the same, including the victory animation. The only thing that's lost is the camera work for the celebrations of the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Alas.
It's noticeably more static.
Anyway, let me check instead. Why not Ako-chan? There we go. Natsuko Kagami is a childlike, arrogant elementary school girl who has an affinity for mirrors, hence why in my country it was called the magic mirror. One day her favorite mirror, which was given to Ako by her mother, or in some version by her father, as a present from India, okay, is broken, and she prefers to bury it in her yard rather than throw it in a trash can. In her dreams, she is contacted by a spirit, or in some cases the queen of the Mirror Kingdom, who is touched that the girl will treat her mirror so respectfully and not simply throw it away. Ako-chan is then given the gift of a magical mirror and taught enchantments. Her catchphrase, as we've mentioned before, is one of such incantation, which I think it translates to Lamipulse, Lululu, something like that allows her to transform into anything that she wishes. Interesting.
Yeah, I think I found a better translation for.
Go on.
This is a romantic simulation presented by Crystal Dynamics for programming, Toei Animation's Takao Yoshimichi for directing, Takanori Ari-han, I think that's it, who is familiar with the witching songs for music, and the Gokusa production staff, whatever that means. So yeah, that's the only, unless it's in the game itself, that's the only bit of credit Crystal Dynamics ever got for making the game. One mention of a poster.
The only media in the franchise of Ako-chan to be officially translated into English is the 1980s run of a manga translated as Ako-chan's Got a Secret. The series briefly aired in the original Japanese on California channel KWHY-TV, okay, in the mid-70s. Otherwise largely unknown in the English-speaking world, the anime enjoyed a good deal of success with it for the European market, and all three series has been screened on TV in my country, because again, we're a little spoiled brats like that.
As for what the main bits on the poster say, you know, on the actual picture itself, let me get it up. Here. A large gathering of demons to protect world peace. A mysterious girl who asks for help in a dream. The witches who were chasing the incident that began to occur in the human world were dreaming of the same girl. Is it a coincidence or fate? Witches are now joining forces to confront the approaching new evil.
Pretty sure some of these aren't even witches. One of them's a cyborg.
Well, yeah, Cutie Honey's a cyborg, that's the thing.
Speaking of which, let me get her next, why not? There we go. One Kizaragi is a regular 16-year-old Catholic schoolgirl until the day her father is murdered by the Panther Claw organization. That's kind of badass as a name. After his death, she learns that she is actually an android created by him. Within her is a device that can create matter from the air, variously translated as atmospheric element condenser mechanism or fixed system of air elements. With her cry of honey flashes, she can use the device to transform into the sword-wielding, red-haired superhero Cutie Honey. This device or similar devices have been used to explain her powers in all later Honey versions. There we go.
Uh-huh.
Sounds lovely.
It's also very, again, this I can clearly see the imprint. Sorry, not the imprint, but the fingerprint of Gonagai in this kind of work. Even in Mazinger Z, all of these products had always such like a heavy, tragic, not necessarily just a backstory, but like undertone to it. Of course, with Devilman is much more prominent, but again, even his other work like do feel like that. Like we really do stick out compared to what were the products at the time.
Okay, as you can imagine, that level, that fighting map in particular can be a bit of a pain because you've got all the cars going down and they can hurt you just as much as they can the enemy.
Doesn't happen when most of the enemies are tanks that loves to bombard you.
Yeah.
And they will bombard you.
Although they only take away a bit of health. These girls are they're sturdy, I'll give them that.
I mean, that's their jobs, I guess. Since they're
I mean they can withstand tank missiles.
Since okay, that's classics of specialties believe most of them are witches, so they probably have some kind of defensive maneuver.
That are
Like
comedic, the barriers.
Yeah, that too. And then a wash basing dropped on the top of the monster. That's hilarious.
Yeah, seriously. For some reason, Japan loves wash basins falling on people's heads.
It's basically their own country's version of the drop the anvil that stuff like Looney Tunes had, Jova. It's basically just a country version of that.
Gotta say, Dwibs, you
Yeah,
better get to that objective
those particular enemies
soon.
can heal either themselves or their comrades.
It looks like you're starting to get a bit outnumbered there. You better get to that objective soon.
Sorry, what was that, Jova?
I said it looks like you're starting to get a bit outnumbered there, so you better get to the objective soon.
Yeah, don't worry, I will.
Okay, so a car is apparently strong enough to knock that guy.
You're in my way,
And
sir.
again!
Yes. Oh, okay, so it's kind of like the vehicles on NES's stage in Smash.
Pretty much.
So basically, human engineering has gotten so great that our cars are more powerful than alien tank cyborgs.
So in terms of damage, damage resistance, because they didn't seem to actually inflict the damage to
I'm
the
just
enemy.
referring to the fact that it sent that guy flying.
Okay, now they're coming for Akko.
Well, she
Oh,
is
great.
low on health, relatively speaking. Oh wait, no, she's
Not
fully
really.
healed.
No,
That's
no,
right,
remember
yeah,
I,
use the healing
I
spell.
rejigged.
That said, though, can
It's
you
not
like
this enemy's gonna get run over.
are you
I
allowed
love
to,
how most of Saigon.
are you allowed to summon more people to your party during the battle, or have you pretty much have you summoned all that you're allowed to at this point?
You can summon as many as you wish during the main turns, as long as you have enough movement.
How much mana does it usually take?
Depends on the depends on the
unit.
unit.
Again, it's a bit similar to Fire Emblem, some of the older Fire Emblem games in that kind of sense, Jova.
I see, and you've got only 76 mana.
Mm-hmm.
So probably not enough to do a major summoning.
Well, it's 76 out of 77.
Yeah, that's one thing that I don't understand. Like, what's the relation between the number on the left and the one on the right?
Well, I'm assuming the left is
Oops.
how much you have, and the right is how much you can have.
Oops.
Because that's the thing, Pedro. The one on the left usually exceeds that number, so I wonder if it's
What are you
something
talking
else.
about, mana?
Yeah.
Yes.
the mana on the left is the one you have, and the mana on the right is what the enemy has.
Okay.
That explains why sometimes the one on the left can outnumber the one on the right. It's weird because they have a slash mark, and usually when you have a slash mark, that seems to suggest that, oh, this is how much of that you have, but no, that's just comparing how much you or the enemy has. Okay, that makes more sense.
I feel like having an icon with a little girl on the left and an icon with some kind of skull or something would have been a nice improvement to the HUD there.
Maybe in a remake.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like I said before. If they ever do a remake of this game, get a Western developer to do it.
Yes,
Okay,
let's get Bluepoint to remake this.
Clearly, this is the title that deserves the most of the Bluepoint
Though
treatment.
I do
Yes.
test, I know that a lot of these characters may have animes or whatnot that are still ongoing, but have they ever received any more video games after this?
I know.
Okay,
More so, I mean, like,
yeah, I swear Kiltiani had several video games. Let me see.
Although, okay, Bluepoint. If you ever do a remake of this game, please release it to the West.
Oh wow.
Because the Unholy War concept as a whole is so full of potential.
Well,
Okay.
there's much like with this original game. That's not really. That's more up to the publisher, not so much the developer.
Okay, apparently this was the first appearance of Kiltiani in a video game, that included her. And the other was in another crossover with future Gonagai characters called Legible Dynamic Go Shoden Hokai no Rondo, that was developed by Ben Presto in 2003 for the Game Boy Advance.
Fascinating.
Interesting. Let me check the other series, why not? But...
That's a very inspired idle animation choice. Can I do the toys for Bobby?
Definitely.
Right, we need idle animation for these characters. What do you want to do? Stretches. Oh.
Okay, Sally the
Three
Witch...
enemies right near me. What do I do?
Sally the Witch apparently did not get other video games, though she did a cameo in the Giant Robo OVA, the one from 1995, I think it's called. Interesting.
I get the feeling that if on the off chance possibility, I'm pretty sure Namco Bandai would just get one of their internal teams to do it. Probably
CyberConnect too.
Well, I guess sure, but I think the guys who made Captain Tsubasa
But there's
game
a certain... Because that's the thing about this game, Angel. There's a certain vibe to it that it being developed by Westerners has. But you're probably not gonna get if it's done by another Japanese studio.
Although to be fair, without doing the research that we tend to do on the show, would you really know that this was made by Western developers?
I mean, it's not like it was hard to find out. It was just a Wikipedia search.
Oh, I get that. What I mean is like, well, let's assume that somebody who's playing the game isn't, this big nerd who, is all about who made the game or whatnot. Like, they're just playing the game,
After all,
like
remember,
the casual gamer.
Aside from a couple of runs, Dwibs, not many people talk about this game in general.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, like I said, honestly, I don't think the idea
Again,
is
not a lot of people
there.
talk about Unholy War either, so...
I'd argue the sad thing is that I think I've seen more people talk about Unholy War than... Yeah, I've seen any mention of this game. Like, I think there's that one
Honestly, your
documentary
best
you showed
chance...
me, but yeah.
Your best chance is someone like Nitro Red, since you did touch upon some of the more obscure idols games like Akuji the Heartless.
Like I said, this is... it's kind of a shame because I do see the idea here. I do think that if this were made in, like, a day like today, this game probably would have had a lot more attention. Hell, it maybe might have even...
Probably would have used different IPs, though.
It probably would have even gotten localized as well. Well,
I don't know if it was me that said this earlier or it was someone else, but a game.
There we go.
If they wanted to cross over on Holy War with anime again, I can imagine this working with something like Majokko Magica or something.
Yeah, we did
And
mention
Higurashi and Cowboy Bebop.
Well, we're talking strictly about the Mao Shoujo genre, so something like, say, Precure, Ojamajo Doremi, stuff like that.
Technically, Higurashi would count based off of the OVA and that recent mobile Higurashi game.
It's more of a it's more of a murder mystery mixed with sci-fi than actual Mao Shoujo.
Well, there are technically magical girl elements in it.
Oh, and Tio, don't you mean just magical do-re-mi?
Ugh.
But yeah,
But in the meantime, I've also searched. Apparently, Cutiani is the only one of the franchises represented here who had some kind of history in video games.
So
interesting.
yeah, a lot of them. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong.
It's interesting because products like Doraemon get video games out the wazoo no matter what, despite the fact of their more simplistic nature. So you'd think, Japan could come up with some games based on these other properties.
It's interesting you mentioned that, Tio, because it was only recently that Doraemon actually had a video game release in the West, and it was the story of Seasons 1.
Yeah.
Which is, again, I do give whoever's in charge of the Doraemon series credit for trying to get the series somewhat known in the West, but I guess it just doesn't catch on. Well, the funny story, it had 2 different English dubs. I mean, well, of the more recent one, anyway.
I guess one American, one British.
Yeah, an American one and a British one. The American one was more... it took the Ace Attorney approach to localizing.
Oh, neat.
Oh, so wacky punny names. I wonder if my country actually did that.
Not punny names, but it tried the Japanifornia approach, if you know what I mean.
Oh, neat.
Let me see if my country actually
Whereas the British dub, while we did take the American names of the characters, the rest of it was almost untouched. It was pretty much it's pretty much the closest. It's pretty much the Japanese episodes in all but language.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Tio.
The music's the same. There's much fewer edits and so on.
Anyway, Tio, despite the theming being magical girls of this game, let's not forget, some of these franchises aren't even really magical girl franchises, so technically we could allow that. Technically, we could allow that leniency, and like I said, Higurashi would technically count thanks to Higurashi May. That's not the OVA, that's like another Higurashi project that actually does take more into that. Not to mention also... Oh, yeah.
If they did get a Western developer to do this, there's more chance they probably know about a lot of more magical girl franchises than they did back then.
From what I've seen, May definitely got better reception than Kira did.
It's not even just a matter of reception; it's the actual content to drove also Carrot.
Yeah, we have to protect the carrots.
What is this? The 100-acre wood in Kingdom Hearts? Get this away, please.
Yeah, basically, a crow comes down and tries to pinch the carrots. It's your job to make sure to swat them away with your magic, pretty much, to make sure they don't get them.
I could be saving the lives of innocents, but saving these carrots from these 2 crows is of vast importance.
Yeah, and I love in these missions. Yeah, but it took one. I do love in these missions. They have a little picture on the top right.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever you have to do.
There you go.
There you are.
So the wonderful thing about magical girls is that they can bounce.
I guess.
Anyway, you were saying, Tio?
No, like I said, it's not even a matter of reception, Joe. It's just the actual content. Kira feels like it was made just so that the makers behind it could have some fun, but in the process did not really understood what the entire thing was about and went way over the top with what we did.
I'm guessing you're one of those guys who believes that especially
forgot what kind of age the characters are supposed to be, even for Japanese standards.
Alright, so who's the next big unholy war creature? Oh, the energy suckers.
Summon Skull?
It's actually they take your health and justify this shit with their own.
I kind of think of it. Remember when Summon Skull was Yugi's OG?
Yeah, me neither.
Seriously.
Even the support given in the Hero's Jovine makes it just even more pathetic.
Well, that's the thing, though. Summon Skull used to be like Yugi's deck master. Like, when the heck did the whole Dark Magician thing even, like,
Very soon.
It's funny, because honestly, Summon Skull you can summon for less of a sacrifice.
And with that, we have conquered the city level.
So... Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Like I said, city level done. So join us next time where we hopefully go to a level that's less taxing on the frame rate.
Jikai, Majokko, Daisakusen, Little Witch in Mischief, Part 7.
Sayonara!
Yeah.
Yeah.